Hey everybody, thanks for all the comments and questions on my last video. They really helped me know what you guys need to learn about rental properties and buying properties. So continue asking questions as you have them. Today we're going to be talking about how rental properties pay you. Most people say, well, obviously they pay you in rent, but it's a little bit more complex than that, and we can go over kind of all the steps that they pay us. So the first way that a rental property will pay us is in profits. So say our mortgage on a property is $1,000. Say we're gonna rent it out for $1,300. We get a $300 gap in there. That's what we can put in our pocket. That's what we actually make each month, and so that will go under our profits. How we use the profits is to make the property worth more money, to fix the property, maintain the property, and so a lot of the profits go to that. The second way is they're going to actually pay your mortgage. So in our last analogy, the $1,000 is our mortgage. That $1,000 isn't just going straight to the bank. It's actually going part to your property, part to the principal, and part to the interest, which is the bank. So whenever you very first start a loan, it'll probably be something like 80-20, 80% going to interest, 20% going to your principal, which is your house. Once you kind of get at the latter stages of your loan, that'll flip-flop. So it'll be more 20% going to the interest, 80% going to your principal, and you'll start stacking the equity in your house up a little bit faster that way. The reason why the banks do it like that is because they're going to stack it where they always get their money. If you foreclose or something like that, they're going to have that interest front loaded so that they always protect themselves against you not being able to pay the property off, basically. So the third way is appreciation. Appreciation, basically 99.9% of properties over 20 years, over 10 years will appreciate. So the property that you're looking at now in 10 years and 20 years is going to go up in value. And like I said, that's likely with 99.9% of properties that are managed correctly. If you let your property just go to shit pretty much, then it's not going to be managed properly. Then it might depreciate in value. But most properties, majority of properties are going to go up in price in the future, and that's what's called appreciation. The fourth way we're going to make money off of our property is depreciation. And we can actually depreciate our property for 27.5 years. So in this analogy, what we'll do is say we bought a property for 270, let's go 275,000. So $275,000 divided by 27.5 years basically is going to give you 10,000 a year. And that's going to be a depreciation on it. So basically what depreciation means, say that we make $50,000 on our taxes, and when we go to depreciate our property, it'll actually drop our tax bracket from 50,000 to 40,000. So it saves you a little bit of money and not getting taxed that extra $10,000. And then it helps out just being a benefit kind of buying a property. This is why a lot of rich people get into buying properties. They'll buy multi-million-dollar properties. Over 27 years, they're going to be able to write 100,000 off on their per year, $200,000, $1 million off, whatever the property is, divided by 27 and a half. That's actually going to give you what you can depreciate each year off the property. So our fifth way is either we sell it or we cash out refinance. So, some people will sell their properties. We try not to sell most of our properties. We try to cash out refinance them. On the sale of a property, what's going to end up happening is we make say that we make $100,000 on a property, and this will be profit. So we made $100,000 in profit. There's going to be something called capital gains. This year, capital gains is 30%. Next year, it's actually going to be 40%. So say that we bought it next year. So we're going to subtract the 40,000. This goes to the IRS. So then that leaves us with 60,000. Once we subtract the 60, or once we have the 60,000, they're going to put that in our actual tax bracket. So they're going to put it as we made it as income, and then they're going to tax that. So most people are going to be 30 to 40% income. Let's say we're in 30% tax bracket. So we're going to subtract another 20,000. It's going to leave us with 40,000. And so basically how it goes, you generated $100,000 in profit. The IRS is going to get 60,000 of it. You're going to be left with 40,000 of it, less than half of what you generated. So that's why we try and cash out refinance. And a cash out refinance, what we're kind of targeting is, let's say that we bought a property for 500,000. So this is what we purchased the property for. Let's say that after 5 years, the property is now worth, after appreciation, the property is now worth 850,000. So this is how our property is going to appreciate. If we sell this property, we're going to have to go through the numbers and figure out what we can make. If we just cash out refinance this property, you can see there's a cushion of $350,000. Say that we paid this off using the mortgage that's getting paid by our tenants. Say that we pay off $50,000. So say we're at actually $450,000 on, that's what our mortgage is now. So this gap that we create with having the tenant pay the mortgage, and then the property appreciating, is going to create a gap. That gap is actually what we're making off the property. So say that the gap is created from 450,000 to 850. They're actually going to give you 80% value of the property. So if the property's $850,000, they're most likely going to give you somewhere around 650. So what you do is you get the 650 and you pay off your original debt. So we'll pay off the 450 with it. So we subtract 450,000. We're left with 200. So this 200,000 that we're left with is actually a cash out refinance. Basically, the bank, the property used to be worth 500,000. We paid it down using the renters, $50,000. We've also used the profits to appreciate the property, and the property over time will appreciate on itself. So what we did is we used profits and appreciation to grow the value of the asset. And then we go back to the bank and we say, hey, this asset's worth more money. Can we borrow money against this asset? What they're going to end up doing is they're going to end up saying, okay, we'll give you 80% of the asset. We now value the asset at 850. Close math, 80% of it will be around 650. Now your new debt is 450,000. You have to pay that one off first. So we pay off the 450,000. We're left with $200,000 that we pulled out the property. Now on a property like this, we would only have invested 120,000 or something. So we're pulling out all of our skin in the game. We have no money in it. And we're actually going to continue to rent this out and make monthly money off of this asset. In this scenario, if we sell it, obviously we lose almost all of our money to the IRS or to the government, and we're also not going to control the asset anymore. One time it is a good time to sell is if we're rolling it into another asset. So say I have a house, I have $250,000 in asset in the house. So my gap is 250, and say that I want to sell the house instead of cash out refinance. What you do is you could sell the house and then roll it into another property. Maybe you have a better house that you're needing. Maybe you want to roll a house into a quadplex or a house into an apartment. This is where the sale will come in handy. And this is usually the only time we sell properties, is to gain a bigger asset, a larger asset, an asset that pays more cash back in the future. And so let me know if you guys have any questions on this. You guys can comment, DM me, anything that you guys would like. I also got a website, tannermax.com. That's 2 X's. And you guys can look up some information on that, and you guys can invest with us on that as well. Thanks, guys. I'm out.